brings us to the very podcast episode from the Whatever Podcast and debate with Andrew Wilson that sparked this whole situation. Now, what I'm not going to do is react. I'm not going to react to 4 hours of content. Instead, I'm going to give you guys some summaries, of course, with the help of our AI assistant barista, Miss Coffee. Guys, I kid you not even 15 minutes into this debate, you could tell that this whole debate was going to go south. Like I said, guys, we're not going to watch the whole thing. Here's how this is going to go. I'm going to ask Miss Coffee to summarize the moments that led up to the heated moments, or like 5 or 6 or so heated moments, which eventually led to her walking off a couple of times until she finally just walked off for good. I'm going to have Miss Coffee summarize that, and then I'm going to play the actual reaction, right? The tension that followed the topics that were covered during this debate. So starting with our first heated moment, Miss Coffee, can you please summarize what led to that first heated moment between Kylie and Andrew Wilson?
Absolutely, love. Let's rewind the tape and break down exactly what led up to Kylie first saying, "I will not be talked to like this," the setup, what was happening before she said it. This moment came during the early phase of the open debate, right after each guest had delivered their opening statements. Kylie gave a passionate intro about feminism, gender equality, and global statistics on violence against women. Andrew followed with a direct, combative rebuttal. He questioned the reliability of feminist data, criticized sociology and psychology for being biased, and accused Kylie of cherry-picking stats and presenting debunked research, specifically citing McKinsey and Kinsey studies. Then it escalated. The trigger moment, Andrew interrupts plus tone shift. Kylie tried to push back and clarify that she hadn't referenced the Kinsey study in her opening. She wanted to stay on topic and called Andrew's attacks a red herring. But Andrew didn't back down. He pressed harder, called her video content propaganda, and accused her of being uninformed and manipulative. Then came the first real personal jab. "Stop whining. We're doing a debate." And baby, that was the ignition spark.
All right, so you guys heard what led up to the moment we're about to watch right here. Let's check out the aftermath.
So, to give you a quick summary, the study seems to show its most likely correlation and not causation, meaning companies were already doing very financially well, and they have the luxury to mess around with diversity quotas and initiatives. In addition, the data from the 2024 paper was unable to replicate any of the older McKinsey studies, any of them. That should tell you something. So that's a very recent data set, right? Why don't any of the psychologists ever go with the recent data set? Well, the reason they don't go with it is because it doesn't affirm their nonsensical worldviews. That's why they don't go with them ever. You'll find this very common in sociology and in psychology, which suffer from the replication crisis. Somewhere around 60% of their findings cannot be replicated, are not to be trusted. Psychology is the study of the mind. The scientific views of psychology are only done through...
I don't know if you guys are paying close attention to her, but she is actually frustrated and triggered. We're 9 minutes in, already triggered by him challenging those studies.
Data collection, but it has to be interpreted. This is a major, major problem. So many feminists will tell you so many studies, and luckily I have all of the ones to refute all of my opponent's studies today. Because what happens is they have a biased worldview and they want the data set to correlate with the worldview rather than wanting to tell you what the actual truth is. The truth is that a bunch of S&P 500 companies who are very rich were already doing really well. And for the purposes of publicity, they decided that they were going to start doing a bunch of DEI hires and ethnic hires and this type of thing. And they decided that the correlation, they made it the correlation causation error. That's it. You'll find this over and over again, I'm sure, as we go through this debate, as we go through the numbers, especially when it comes to the abuse of women, especially when it comes to just how useful women are. We talk about domesticated labor. What a joke. You believe that women should be paid some type of domestic wage. However, it's skilled labor in the home, which keeps the home running. It's always going to be paid way more than domestic labor because it's more worthwhile than domestic labor. Simple. So with that, I'll finish my opening statement. I can't wait to dive right into this.
All right.
Okay. So Kylie, it sounded like you maybe had some pushback you wanted to give on something.
It didn't sound like, it looked like, right? You saw the faces.
Thing Andrew said there.
Yeah, so I very briefly referenced the McKinsey study, and McKinsey and Company's Women in the Workplace study, by the way, is what he's referring to. But it's actually, if you go and look it up, it's generally considered accurate and comprehensive in its findings. So I have quite literally no idea what my opponent is talking about, as well as the fact that this is a red herring fallacy of just, oh, this is wrong and my opponent is wrong for the following reasons.
How's that a red herring?
Because you're not actually acknowledging any of the information that I said.
I refuted the information.
I didn't even hardly talk about that.
I have refutations to your video. Okay. I have your video right here. And you start by saying the largest comprehensive study, the Kinsey study.
Which one are you talking about?
I'll play it for you.
She's like, oh, shit.
Give me a second here.
Okay. Well, I think we should stick to what we're talking about today.
We're talking about all of this today. So
I would like you to be less hostile to me, first of all, because I think we should just have a general discussion.
Stop whining. We're doing a debate.
Stop whining.
So
I'm not going to give you the reaction that I know you're looking for.
Yeah. So women are better leaders than most. You agree?
Yes. I was looking at that video. Yeah. That's like one of the ones that.
And you cite which study?
Oh, yeah, the one that I'm talking about now. But I didn't reference that in my opening at all. So I think the people in the audience, if they had any sort of common sense following along, they'd be like, what is he talking about? Kylie didn't mention that, which I didn't.
But the thing is like, this is a current core part of your worldview and belief, and you make propaganda videos about it, even though it's completely uninformed.
That women are better leaders. I think that is a subjective opinion. None of the statistics and facts that I gave previously are objective opinions. Like the fact that women didn't have the right to vote until 1920. Women couldn't open a bank account in the United States until 1974.
When did men get the right to vote?
Oh, okay, I know this is exactly what you were talking about. This is what you're known for, is like getting people on a technicality that we don't historically know. But the answer to that is no. The answer to that
that's no.
No, the answer to that is the fact that in 1920, everyone was given the right to vote, but there were still barriers to vote for people of color.
When did men get the right to vote?
The right to vote was guaranteed to all people in 1920, according to the 19th Amendment.
Before 1920, were all men allowed to vote?
No.
Okay, great.
They weren't.
And then when men's suffrage was passed, because
of white supremacy and because our system was not founded equally.
Are you aware that men only got any rights to vote about a decade, roughly, before women?
That is not true. Men have been.
It's tensing up. It's tensing up. You guys feel it building up?
The founding fathers were all men, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
What does that have to do with the right to vote?
Let's talk about the sponsor of this channel, fathershaverights.com. Engaged and soon-to-be married men, hiring the wrong lawyer can leave you with an overpriced, unenforceable prenup. Avoid the trap. Inside my step-by-step guide at fathershaverights.com, renowned attorneys James Sexton and the lead attorney lay out the exact questions to ask, red flags to spot, and proven steps to hiring the perfect prenup lawyer. The guide itself costs only a couple of coffee dates, far less than a single billable hour. Hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section, lock in your guide, and join the hundreds of men securing their marriages the right way.
The right to vote was historically withheld from men of color. It was
It was also withheld from the general population.
Do not cut me off. Do not cut me off. I am in the middle of speaking.
I don't care if you're in the middle of speaking. You're in the middle of a debate.
The right to vote.
You don't have your TikTok mute button, sweetheart?
I will not be speaking anymore until you have a conversation with him.
Well, look, if we can, for both people, if we can allow each other to finish. Even if you want to jump in, just let the other person finish speaking. If somebody's going on a monologue and they're filibustering, I'll try to get them to wrap up. But just if they're making a point, just try to let them finish.
No, I did not go to school for 4 years and build a platform to be talked to like this. So I will be walking away from the microphone right now. And I would encourage you to get your guest under control. I'm going to take 2 minutes so you can ask him questions if you'd like, and I will be right back. I just won't be back. And
I don't give a shit. What do I care? I'm here to have a debate, not listen to your whining. Do you want to have a debate or not?
All right. I'm not going to be talked to like this.
Well, do you want to just take a little 2-minute breather? You want to take a 2-minute breather?
Now, as you guys can see, she obviously was not prepared for this debate or debate style. Now, if she would have done just a little bit of research, she would have come more prepared and known what to expect. Either she didn't do the research, which is her fault, right, if she didn't do the research, or she did do the research and overestimated her ability to actually debate. But of course, guys, I'm curious to know, what do you think? But what's really interesting here is Brian, the host of the podcast, actually asked Andrew to take it easy. He probably realized, like, hey, we're about like 14 minutes in. It looks like this chick wasn't ready for what she was signing up for. Maybe she didn't know, and he probably thought Andrew flew in there, left his family and everybody, is taking this seriously. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt because we can lose this whole thing.
Just take a little 2-minute breather. You want to take a 2-minute breather?
This is feminism? You're the strong woman? You're the strong woman? Really? Who? Strong woman. I will not be talked to. Like what? What did I even say?
I would.
I will not be talked to like that. Yeah, you will. What are you talking about? It's a debate.
Maybe we can try to stick to.
There's been some really strong feminist women in that chair who have debated with me, just not this one.
Yeah. Although I think maybe for the
this is the stuff that Piers Morgan loves. Like I'm sure Piers would be smiling like this. Yes, yes, yes. The ratings. I would do my British accent, but it's terrible.
Maybe we can try to stick to.
There's been some really strong feminist women in that chair who have debated with me, just not this one.
Yeah. Although I think maybe for the sake of the ensuring that the debate happens, maybe we can just so we get the debate. So the debate happens, maybe.
Well, what am I supposed to do? I'm in the middle of a debate. Am I supposed to worry about tone policing and this and that because I have points and refutations which may hurt people's feelings?
Well, I think she overreacted a little bit, but I think it is fair to allow.
Then time it.
If she's in the middle of.
Yeah, time it. Give us 60 seconds apiece.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
I'll propose that to her.
You see, this is the real awkward discussion that people love. This is what they signed up for.
Do 60
but
seconds.
I mean, I'm fine with keeping it open, but just if you're talking, and she interrupts you, I'll tell her not to.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can, just try to let her finish.
Yeah, but when anybody does the bullshit of like, I'm speaking, you know what I mean? Of course, there's going to be some.
Yeah, but try to let her finish if you can. But
yeah, let's do 60-second back and forth.
That's fine with me,
Do
as
you
long
wanna
as there's
do-
some boundaries. Yeah,
You want to do that? 60 seconds back
sure.
and forth?
That works.
Or if you guys want, we could give it another shot at just keeping it open combo.
Sure.
So why don't we do that? If the interruptions continue, you guys feel like you're not.
But I would like to just point out.
Wait. We have to set the rules first. No more talking. Yes, we will do 60 seconds
like
back
I'm
and
supposed
forth.
to be talk to you like that, though, right?
No, 60 seconds back and forth. I will leave. I'm so serious. We signed an agreement. If
Leave. I don't care.
We
Why do you think I care if
talking
leave?
to you.
Hold on, guys.
I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
So right from the jump, man, she's threatening to leave the podcast. He's like, hey, man, it's whatever. Now, obviously, the person who has the most to lose here, I would assume, is the host, Brian. So I can assume as the main host, he sets up a lot of these discussions. So he's trying to maintain the peace. Andrew's like, listen, I've been through worse debates like this with grown men. And then you have this chick here who's triggered 15 minutes in and ready to leave. All right. So what was the next heated moment? The next heated moment was when they were discussing the force doctrine. Ms. Coffey, could you explain and summarize what led to the second heated moment?
The conversation escalated from a back and forth on feminism, violence statistics, and whether men or women are more abusive in different settings. Andrew, the male debater, pushed heavily on the idea that force is the foundation of rights, especially in the context of patriarchy. He introduced his own concept called force doctrine, arguing that, if men collectively decided to take away women's rights, they could do so by force. Therefore, all rights women have are not inherent but granted and maintained by men. That's what triggered the where do rights come from debate. Core of the human rights argument. Andrew's position. Rights are not inherent, they're maintained through force, which is overwhelmingly male-dominated. Feminism is a lie because it depends on the very patriarchy it claims to oppose. If women really had inherent rights, they wouldn't need male enforcement to protect them. Kylie's position. Rights should be inherent to all human beings simply by existing. She referenced UN human rights principles and natural law, suggesting that dignity and moral rights don't come from force but from shared human compassion or even God, though she said she's not religious. She admitted that governments use force, but disagreed with the conclusion that men grant rights.
So after Andrew Wilson made his point about how feminism depends on men to uphold it, this was the aftermath.
I don't know if you had anything to say about it.
Well, aside from the fact that that is genuinely a terrifying idea, I think that the idea that men could just take away our rights and wipe us away is why feminism is necessary, is because we are trying to get enough men, I suppose, on our side, if you think about it in terms of like a military occupation, so that that wouldn't happen. Because I think that it is possible for men to take away our rights at a blanket pace. But I don't agree with your conclusion based off that premise, though. I don't believe that women inherently don't have rights that it's given to us by men. And the reason why is because I believe that all human beings inherently should have equality and human dignity, which is although I'm not Catholic, it's a term that was very much focused on in my Catholic high school. I went to public school and then Catholic high school.
But it's an axiom?
About human dignity.
It's just axiomatic.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like important though to me, because I think that because the societies that we have created have necessitated the need, or have created the need for laws and for structure in government. And so there are many philosophers that have talked about how important it is to have government, right? But because of the fact that men can take it away does not mean that men thus give to us, right? Like, men are not gods. It is something that is inherent to each of us, that we should have the ability to live and self-govern, have autonomy. And I think the fact that men could take it away actually goes to my point about how a lot of them do, and a lot of them try to take our autonomy and make us feel unsafe and harm us, which you were previously refuting, but actually seems like you agree with me on that it's a possibility.
I'm not trying to interrupt much at all, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
No, it's descriptively true. I'm not giving an ought, I'm giving a descriptive reality.
But because it's a descriptive reality,
the truth is that you appealed to patriarchy.
I have no idea what I have not said appeal to patriarchy. What are you talking about?
When you said the whole goal is to get more men on our side, you're appealing to a patriarchy.
Well, it's not the whole goal, but is a goal. Yes, I should correct myself.
And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to appeal to the very demographic which can take away your rights at any time, conceding that if you do not have them on your side, you cannot maintain your rights. That is not ever true of men, which is why you'll always end up with a default patriarchy, the more feminists push. I don't know if you're looking at the modern world
it's not
now.
It's the modern world, because it's not necessarily a default.
It's always going to be a default.
But in a lot of tribes, they were very matriarchal, and like women were at the head of the family.
There's never been a matriarch in the world.
That is not true at all.
You give me one.
Okay, I will look it up for you.
It's going to be an
She pulls out her phone and is about to do some research. Oh, man.
Indian tribe, and I'll refute it. Watch.
Well, indigenous people largely have.
It's going to be an Indian tribe, and I'm going to refute it.
Eventually, she began to get even more and more triggered with Andrew Wilson's rebuttals.
I'm not super interested in this line of questioning, because it just seems like inherently misogynistic question.
If you're interested in it, I want to know the worldview.
I think you care, because like it's your podcast, and like I'm kind of ready to move on.
You know what? In your next argument, I'll just say, well, I'm just not very interested.
Okay.
Like,
then I'll just talk about my point.
What does that do?
Well, you're not really letting me talk, or like, I'm
just asking you basic questions. You refuse to answer them.
As you can see, she was starting to shut down.
That's it. I just wish you would actually answer the questions, and then we could get somewhere, but you just refuse to. I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? And you're like, well, I just explained it, when you didn't actually explain anything. And then we get to the root of it. So what you keep doing is appealing to patriarchy for your rights by saying, I would never say I appeal to patriarchy for my rights. You say, hey, I want to appeal to men because we need men in order to protect us from the patriarchy, which means you're appealing to men for your rights. It seems like it's a big circle, so I'm just trying to decipher it out. That's it. That's it. Okay, I'm not gonna engage anymore. All right.
I already told you I just don't have anything else to say on this. So I feel like we've had a good conversation. I mean, I've enjoyed hearing what you have to say, but I just don't have.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have enjoyed, like actually critiquing the view, but since you don't make the view,
you already
available,
have for like the last 15 minutes.
You've just been very evasive, and you've been very unwilling to actually answer questions, even when you've contradicted yourself. You want to acknowledge it. So
this was followed by a short break that they took, and at this point, not even halfway into the podcast, not only was Kylie's opponent, Andrew Wilson, kind of over the whole situation and frustrated by the fact that she was just kind of shutting down because she couldn't refute any of his points. But the audience also started to show their frustration about her approach and constantly threatening to leave the podcast.
I saw this. That's funny.
Why would anyone care if you leave? Who are you? You're supposed to be defending your worldview. W. Andrew from Cole. Thank you, Cole, for the super chat. Do you want to respond to this, or?
Oh, sure. Yeah. My name's Kylie Brewer. I'm sort of like an up and coming, like activist type person. I feel like I have, my goal here was to educate, just about feminism generally. So, I'm sorry if that hasn't like held up to your standards. But yeah, if I do leave, I think the debate would end. So I think that might be why people would care. But anyways, thank you for your comment.
We have Chaotic Fuzz. Why are you letting her hold the debate hostage? She's being a child, saying, if I don't get my way, I'll leave. It's disrespectful to the platform and listeners.
I think it's disrespectful to be talked down to the way I am. So that is why it's not just about like leaving and holding the platform hostage. It is rather a fact of protecting my integrity, and I will never let myself be in a place where I feel unsafe or like I'm being belittled. So if that does happen and continues to happen, I will leave. And it's not a reflection of, the platform or anything. It's just like for me as well.
So there you go. You guys heard it for yourself. If she feels like her emotions and her feelings are getting hurt, or someone's attacking her views and their tone is off, then she can't be there, right? She will leave. Also known as rage quitting, which makes the title make more sense. So now we're getting to the first time she actually walks away from this debate. So now we're getting to the first time she actually walked away from the whole debate while they were discussing which was worse, misogyny or misandry. Let's check it out.
Is misogyny worse than misandry?
Yeah, I would say so. And the reason why is because misogyny is built into laws and policies as well, versus misandry is just like a lot of the time is rooted in genuine fear. It doesn't make it okay, but I think like it's better to see people as they are. But I think misogyny is again more of like a deeply systemic issue, and a lot of violence, gender-based violence, is rooted in misogyny, which cannot necessarily be said for the other way around. Obviously there's always exceptions to everything.
Got it. And then so Andrew, there was the, can women be sexist towards men? Can minorities be racist towards white people?
So I categorically reject these definitions. These are what are called institutional definitions. What they are is they're definitions in order to reinforce a worldview rather than actually give descriptions for what is reality. So if we're talking about race, for instance, right, and racism, if you're talking about what are perceived racial groups, why couldn't minorities be racist towards the majority? Well, what academic.
If you guys are paying close attention here, she's telling the host, I am leaving. I am going to leave. Obviously triggered by her opponent refuting her stances, which is crazy.
Academics do is they play this pretentious game where they're like, well, you have to have institutional power. Well, that's also.
Hold on. Can you just, I hate to interrupt you, Andrew. Can you just, you repeat what you.
And instead of letting her get away with it, Brian, the host, then says, can you say that in the mic, please?
You just said to me privately there?
Yes. I will be needing to leave at 6 p.m. So for anyone who is leaving or who is watching and not 6:30, because I have a lot of reasons. And one is that I have to drive 2 hours tonight in the dark. So I would like to leave at 6 p.m. and I'm making that known. And I hope that our agreement can be fulfilled.
But can you specify? I mean, you agreed to do
6:30.
6:30. That was the agreed upon.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, asking me to continue to explain myself is a little bit tiring, but there's a lot of reasons. I mean, I have some health issues. I just sitting here for this prolonged period. I was not told, by the way, that this was going to be 3 hours. I thought it was going to be an hour max. So I agreed.
We didn't specify that it was going to be an hour max. So why would you assume?
I actually was very poor communication on your end. But anyways, I'm telling you.
Notice how there's an excuse after an excuse after an excuse, and every excuse is worse than the one before. And finally, it's like, my health is being compromised by being here.
That I will be
poor
leaving at 6.
Communication on your end. You're going to a show and didn't bother asking how long it was going to be?
No, I did when I got here, but I will be.
Wait. When you got here?
I'm leaving at 6. Okay, so we can have as much of a debate as we want.
Okay, yeah, we understand.
And if that's not satisfactory,
6.
I will leave now. Like, I'm just letting you know. Like, this is not an environment for me that I am enjoying.
God, you whine so much. You're such a whiner. You just whine and cry.
But yeah, I'm just letting you know. I don't.
But what was the other thing you said?
I can't do a debate. He's going to ask me questions about my worldview I wasn't prepared for. I'm just here to teach and monologue, and I don't want. Ridiculous.
If I signed something about coming here.
So she agreed to 6:30 right in front of me. And now she's retracting it. It's like, what is going on? I don't know.
She signed a contract and now she wants to break the contract by leaving early.
And mind you, Andrew has just already done 2 debates. He did one on Friday and on
flew
Thursday.
in also for my opponent.
And
very kind to me.
That
You're
is
welcome.
kind. Thank
and
you.
Those debates.
I also don't live here. I flew in. I'm in Chicago, so.
Right. Those debate. Wait, I'm a little confused. You flew in.
I flew in. I have family that lives an hour away, so I spent a little bit of time with them this morning, and then I'm going to see them again before I fly out tomorrow.
Well, okay, that we'll discuss that after the show.
And there's also another reason, right? Now she's talking about how she flew in as well.
And if you looked at our channels and the length of our previous debates, the past 2 debates that we had
have gone
like
quite
4 or
long.
5 hours. And
Yeah.
So
I mean, again,
I
I have health problems.
Yeah, but why?
I'm sorry, guys, I have to do this, but right there, she admits that she has seen other debates. And so the whole claim of her kind of being misled about what to expect during the debates is false, right? Comment down below. What do you think?
I mean, are you serious? Like, are you serious?
I'm fucking serious. Why would you have a different assumption?
Issues.
Why? How would we know that?
I'm telling you now.
Of course, but don't you think that if you saw the last 2 episodes, they went 5 hours, why would you presume that yours was going to go less and that we would know you had health issues?
Because I'm telling you I have
But when
problems.
you get to the show?
Oh my God. Wow. Unreal.
This is an initial, this is a disclosure now, but look, so we're going to continue the conversation, but there was one other thing you said to me there in private.
You're fundamentally a dishonest person. Like fundamentally dishonest. There's no reason for you to hold that presumption at all. On top of there being no reason for you to hold that presumption whatsoever, you get to the studio, then say you have health issues. It's like, yeah, it seems fundamentally dishonest.
Right. I mean, that's just kind of something that you don't want to disclose because it's a little embarrassing.
We're not asking you.
You cry?
Look.
Listen, I knew this was coming. I knew the tears were coming, man. I knew they were coming.
Strong
we're
woman.
Not asking
I thought you were a strong woman.
I hope you guys
cry?
have a really good day. I'm
hold on,
leaving.
Hold on.
No,
You're
gonna cry?
Not asking, hold on. We're not. Look.
I thought you were a strong woman.
Kylie, do you want to just take like 3 minutes to gather? I mean, you agreed to.
I agreed to hear, not stay for the entire.
Yeah, but that you can't do some technicality where, well, I showed up for 2 minutes and I'm just going to leave and get the benefits of.
Yo, Andrew. Andrew Wilson is there doing the crybaby face. You know what's really interesting about this? My mind immediately when I saw this, when I thought of sort of like debate style and, guest and crying. Well, first I thought, hey, they're treating her like they would treat any other grown man who started crying on the show. And then I thought about this, Jordan Peterson. You know how many liberal platforms make videos making fun of Jordan Peterson and how expressive he is emotionally? And I think the irony here is you have a woman who's on here to debate about feminism and how strong feminists are, when most feminists who are watching this would probably say something along the lines of, oh, that was too harsh. Why would you treat her like that? That's a woman. That's a woman.
Look, Kylie, just take a 5-minute breather. You still there, Kylie? Look, do you want to take a 5-minute breather, come back, and we'll talk more? Okay. All right. Here, I'll do some chats. I'll read some chats. Let's see here.
So you would think that she left after that first rage quit and walked off, but no. The second time she walked off is when Andrew debunked her stance, claiming that feminism is about human choice. Ms. Coffey, could you please summarize what led up to that second heated moment and walk off?
Oh yes, love. This was one of the most surgical takedowns in the debate, and absolutely part of what led to Kylie mentally checking out and eventually walking off. Let's break it down. Second pillar of feminism, expanding human choice. Kylie defined the second pillar of feminism as expanding human choice, especially around agency, autonomy, and opportunities for all genders, without infringing on others' rights. This includes equal access to jobs and leadership roles, the freedom for women and men to pursue non-traditional roles, societal support to help people make empowered choices like career versus family. Sounds nice on paper, right? How
Right.
Andrew debunked it, according to him. Andrew challenged Kylie using her own logic. Here's how. He brought up guns. He asked, if owning an AR-15 doesn't hurt anyone, why would you limit that choice? Kylie couldn't give a solid answer beyond public safety and admitted she didn't know enough about guns. He then pivoted to hiring discrimination. He argued that banning a business from hiring who they want, for example, men only, also limits someone's choice. Kylie responded that discrimination causes psychological harm, so restricting it is justified. Andrew flipped it again and said, so it's not really about choice. It's about enforcing a moral worldview, even if it limits someone else's freedom. Then he said this, so the second pillar of feminism isn't really about choice, it's about pushing an agenda. Boom. Why this shook Kylie, she admitted. I suppose if you want to make the argument you're making, then no, it's not really about choice. That was a full concession, whether she meant to give one or not.
And this was the aftermath following that discussion.
Make the argument you're making, then no.
Yeah, then it's not really about choice. Okay, so the second pillar of feminism is not
right. You
true.
just debunked it like so fast, just like that.
It's pretty
so
false. Yeah, it's pretty false. You just said it's not really about choice. It's really about an agenda, right? What was the third pillar of feminism?
Well, I think we're getting close to the end. Is this what we want to talk about for the last, few minutes?
Well, we have another 30 minutes.
Sure.
It's 5:59 right now. We have.
All right. Well, I might just have to take another break because I'm not feeling so hot. Is that all right? But I'll tell you what I would like to talk about next, though.
Well, one thing here, I think it would be fair.
I just told you I have medical issues, though. Like, I genuinely need to take a break.
Hold on. I'm fine with you taking the breaks.
Okay.
But given the frequency and the duration of said breaks, I think it's reasonable to ask for an additional 10, 15 minutes to make up for the breaks that have occurred thus far.
Sure. I will give you 10 minutes more. So we can go till 6:40. But other than that, I truly cannot stay longer. Like, I have problems.
Isn't it odd that every time Andrew debunks a point, I'm just looking at his face, right? Every time Andrew debunks a point, she has to go.
Like,
look, do you want to go ahead and take the break and we'll let some chats come through? Okay.
Yo. You're like, what the F?
All right. Here's what we're gonna do, guys. Since we are getting close to the end of the show, make sure you get your messages in now. There's quite a few. Andrew, if you can just stay for just a sec.
I'm staying.
There's quite a few. We'll try to get them all in. We'll do a bit more. So streamlabs.com/whatever.
All right. And then she came back.
Be as fair as I can. All right, here,
I've actually had someone offer to pay me, because I'm assuming if I leave early, you won't pay me. But I've had someone in my comments offer to pay me the amount that I was paid to be here. So I'm going to go because I have medical problems. I'm not feeling good.
What if somebody in our chat offers to pay you
more?
Now, we can't skip over that, guys, because one of the accusations she made is that she was never compensated and lost money appearing on this podcast. But here she says that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, out of thin air, she's had somebody offer to pay her more than she was getting paid here on this platform. So she's going to go ahead and take off. Now, the only two things that could be true here. Either she did get paid more and now she's just greedy and wants more money, right? Because she says the person offered her more so she can leave, or she made that up in the bathroom, like, this isn't going my way, I need to come up with anything, and this is yet possibly another lie. Which one is it?
Do you think they would?
Yeah.
Well, they would pay me and then...
Yes, if someone offered, I would stay, and I would cry on camera. But I don't know if they will.
This is why we have the wage gap. Sure. This is literally why we have the wage gap, ladies and gentlemen.
But I highly doubt that someone will offer that.
That's a pretty good point. He's saying women will cry and work, and they're not willing to power through those tears. They're not willing to work as hard as men. And that contributes to the wage gap, roughly translated, of course. But isn't it kind of odd that now that they've brought up the money just a little bit higher, she's like, oh, okay, I'll stay. How much are you willing to pay?
I wonder, so they're offering you...
They're offering me 50.
So if you stay for another 2 hours, what would that cost?
Oh my God.
Like $500?
No. My God. More.
On top.
Like Probably double.
500, so 1,000.
The original. Okay, double the original. So I think we would need, in order, would you actually, if it was doubled, would
If
you?
it was actually doubled, I would stay, because again, I am like, I do have a problem. Like, so I could probably stay a little longer.
2 hours.
I would just have to
2
take
hours
breaks.
beyond. So we're talking 8:30.
Sure. Then I would need like triple, because I like
Troy,
Triple?
You're a tough negotiator, Kylie. You're a tough negotiator.
I like
this girl over here, tough negotiator.
I genuinely do have issues though. Like I'm not. That's not a lie. So
She keeps on bringing the issues every time they don't meet the terms and conditions. Don't forget, I got these issues, but it's like you're willing to stay for the money. I mean, let's go back to the original accusations. Who's forcing her to sit there? And is she responsible for her own decisions? Can she somehow be held hostage on camera, on a live show? Someone, please.
I just don't like to talk about it. But I have a hard time. Yeah. Like I could like.
Yeah, what is the
headaches
issue
and-
anyway?
I don't really like to talk about it, but I've had like concussions and stuff like that. So
Concussions?
It's like a brain- like a-
TBI.
yeah, I mean, traumatic brain injury. Yeah, it was a traumatic. It's like I get like really bad headaches and like
Do you want? We have like
difficulty breathing.
Tylenol or ibuprofen. We could give you.
But I don't really want to go too much into it.
Okay.
But I have had someone offer me, but I just don't think this is a good environment. So I think I'll just take the offer that the person has given me of the original amount, and I'm just gonna head out. I think so. Yeah, I just I think my health is more important than whatever you've offered me, which is not much. So
I mean, I don't think it's fair. You know, we've been very generous here at the Whatever podcast. I don't know if that's a fair categorization. So you said the double. So if somebody does essentially, somebody want to send in like an Ethereum.
and again, like this isn't really my network, so I don't think anyone's gonna offer it. So, but I guess nothing is impossible.
Are there any takers in the chat who want to see this?
So you guys are probably wondering, did she actually end up getting any money from the audience? No, eventually she just actually left.
Are women as a group oppressed in the USA? Your answer?
I think it's possible, but I really need to leave.
May I just at least, can you stay for Andrew's close?
No, I don't.
Look, we're not kidnapping you. I'm just asking if you can at least
Okay,
stay.
you have to clarify you're not kidding. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But you said you could stay 5 minutes. Come on.
Notice how he said, we're not kidnapping you. And then she says, oh, you have to clarify that you're not kidnapping me. So she was already thinking, like, I'm being kidnapped right now. But how? How is a strong, powerful, independent woman who has autonomy to walk away from the situation being kidnapped?
I'm leaving. I mean, what? No, I'm going. But I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you for.
Are you oppressed? Do you want to just answer that? You don't need to say into the mic. Just yell it out, maybe.
All right, guys, that's it. And of course, I'm curious to know what you guys think. My final words. This chick oddly reminds me of another TikToker who is most famously known as the Black Female Therapist. Same type of disposition, highly emotional, volatile, constant victimhood. Now, I'll give you guys a little bit of a peek into the background of being a content creator so you guys kind of understand that there's a lot of these people. There are a lot of content creators, and especially chicks, who get online but can't handle the pressure. And many of them claim to be strong feminists. For those guys who don't know her actual story or may not remember it, she originally went viral because she was talking about how Black men need therapy. And she started exposing the Black male that she was working with, like that, like some of the stuff they were going through. Long story short, people in her practice got complaints and saw that as unethical, and she lost her job. Now, she was doing this on a platform, and she was not timid, right? She was in your face, calling Black men out. And as soon as she lost everything, she started crying. And it only went downhill from there. The last video I actually remember covering on this chick is she was doing OnlyFans to survive. Now, She could have gotten a job doing anything else, but she kind of blamed everyone else for that too. Like, look what I've resorted to. It's everybody's fault, but mine. And again, there are a lot of these chicks who are online who get out. I'll tell you guys a personal story. I'll report on topics. This doesn't happen often. In fact, this has only happened, I think, like twice. There was a woman who got online and was talking about how ugly men are. She went on this huge, long rant about how there are no attractive men and men are so ugly. All I did was react to it and be like, you're out here calling men ugly. How would you feel if men called you ugly on a public platform? And as soon as she saw that video, she sent me a message and it was all, oh, this is too much for me. I can't take it. I deleted the video. I did. Doesn't always happen that way, but I deleted that video. But you got to think about that, right? This is someone who had no problem saying that on a platform to millions of people, but didn't have the emotional capability to actually take what she usually dishes out to others. My advice to this chick is I think she needs help. This whole approach of playing victim and blaming everyone else is not going to end well because she doesn't seem like she has the emotional capability to actually handle the attention that she gets on her platform. And she's trying to do exactly that, like garner attention. And people are going to now give their opinion about her stance. What's going to happen then? I think someone that cares about it needs to be like, hey, take a break from social media. You really need to back off. You're obviously letting this get to you a little bit too much. Or she may end up on OnlyFans like the last chick. It's not what I wish. But, when you do this content thing, you sort of have to accept the strong hate along with the strong love. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.